I was asked to do a video about the Morrigan, and so that's what this video is going to be about. An Irish deity who is actually a triple goddess, one of many triple goddesses, who is known mostly for her connection to crows and ravens and the battlefield. But before I get into the Morrigan, hi, I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com. If you're new to the channel and you want to learn more about Wicca and witchcraft, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any videos. And if you're looking for any witchy merchandise like mugs, t-shirts, cushions, that kind of thing, then have a look at the Mystical Witch store. The link to that is in the description field below this video. There are lots of witchy based themes for you to wear and use. So let's get down to the Morrigan. In my very early days of the craft, I was very attracted to these goddesses who are more on the darker side of the polarity, meaning that they are more mysterious and they're more hidden, and people are less likely to be attracted to them because they're the reminder of the death aspect, which is the crone aspect in the triple goddess. I was very attracted to these goddesses, and of course when I was quite young I was quite attracted to these, I think because they reflected a lot of the shadow stuff that I instinctively wanted to work on, but at the time didn't know how. And a lot of people are attracted to the Morrigan and other goddesses that are more on the side of the polarity that a lot of people don't want to go near because they're too frightening. And I think a lot of that really does have to do with the fact that if you are a person who maybe does struggle with things like depression, anxiety, a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and a lot of stuff in your life that you haven't worked on yet, or that you are maybe in the process of working on, these goddesses are often going to be the ones you're attracted to. So if you are attracted to the Morrigan or any of these sorts of goddesses, keep in mind that this is an opportunity for you to realize that it's time to do some shadow work or some inner work on yourself, because that's when these goddesses turn up. When you do come through and you've done a lot of work on yourself, you will find yourself becoming attracted to other deities who have other things to offer you. So just keep that in mind. These goddesses are heavy goddesses. They're goddesses of transformation. So the Morrigan is basically three goddesses, and they're often referred to as sisters. And they are Baive, Maka, and Namanya. Now you may pronounce them differently depending on the spelling is Gaelic, so they don't look how they're actually pronounced. So I'm doing the best I can with the pronunciations. There's lots of different ideas about how they're supposed to be pronounced. But these three goddesses are the goddesses of the battlefield in the Irish mythology. And battle was a big thing, and it still is a big thing, because battle always seems to occur. And so when a warrior would see the Morrigan, and often she would appear as an old woman washing bloody linen at the edge of a ford. And when they see that image, they would know that they were going to die on the battlefield. She was a warning that it was time for them to transition, basically from being a human to going to the next world. And the raven or the crow is a symbol of that as well, because ravens and crows eat dead things. They clean up the battlefield. They're nature's cleaners. They're very, very important to the ecosystem, and without them we would have a very smelly world. So their job is to clean up, and as a result of that they're also associated with magic and change and transformation. So when you're working with these goddesses like the Morrigan, you really want to think of working with them on the transformation which death is. So the idea of death, when you're working on it from a mystical point of view, is that you're transitioning from being somebody who is clinging to an old way of life, which is your programmed way of living, probably a very ego-oriented way of living, to transitioning to a more fulfilling, joyful life where you're following the path of your higher self, more so than being at the mercy of your ego programming. So in a modern day sense, the Morrigan is a goddess that can help you with that transitioning. But they're not easy deities to work with, because transitioning from that uncomfortable, dark place that you may be in requires a lot of work. It requires inner work, shadow work. It requires working on your beliefs about yourself and the world around you. And that's not an easy path to move through, yet it is a path that you need to move through nonetheless. So for those of you who are attracted to the Morrigan, I totally get it, and it really is about transformation. So that's what you're instinctively being guided towards, is transforming from wherever you are at the moment to becoming more having more self-knowledge, knowing who you really are, in a way that you can then step out of wherever you are now, which may be feelings of being limited in some way, being able to step out and then shine your light in the world in some way, shape or form. This is taking a more positive look at these goddesses. So originally these goddesses would have been feared. They were feared. As I said, if a warrior saw the washer at the ford, they would be frightened, because they'd know this was their last battle. But it also gave them the opportunity to face death head on. And a spiritual truth is that we're all going to die at some stage. Some of us more sooner than others. And death is something that we have to face. We have to face and look our death in the face. It's only an arm length away, to quote Carlos Castaneda or Don Juan. It's inevitable. So what the Morrigan was showing is that this is something you've got to face. And in facing death, you can actually transform your life, as in your physical life can be transformed. Because if you always are aware that at any moment you could be dead, then you are going to live your life so much better. What would you do now? How would you change your life if you knew that you were going to die a week from now? What would you be doing differently right now? It gets you thinking about life. It gets you thinking about, what can I do with my life that's going to bring me joy? What can I do with my life that's going to give it meaning? And that's what the meditations on death are about. It's not about being morbid and focusing on death and dying in a morbid way. It's about putting a fire under your life and you getting on with life. So instead of dwelling on the unpleasant things of your life, of the past, it's about you making the changes so that you can actually take direction of your life and make something really, really good out of your life. Because life and death, of course, go together. So this is how you can work with the Morrigan. She can be showing you that death aspect, and basically waking you up to the reality of who and what you really are, a spiritual being having a human experience. And what are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with your life? How are you going to live it? She can help you make those big decisions. So she's a pretty tough goddess to work with. And don't make the mistake of getting attached to the dark, sort of warrior kind of aspect of a lot of people get attached to with the darker goddesses, or with that side of things, where they focus too much on being a person who is really hard to deal with and difficult, and don't even look at me sideways or I'll curse you type of attitude. You don't want to get caught in that, because that's a trap. You want to be using these things to help transform your life in a much more positive way. And this is where you can work with these goddesses and where they can help you transform. So that's my connection to the Morrigan, which is more of a personal connection. Definitely a deity that I was very, very interested in back in my early witch days. Unfortunately, back then, I didn't really know how to work with her. So I didn't get the benefits back then that I could have got had I known how to work and do shadow work and even work with deities. It would have been so much more helpful then. But she is definitely there for you. There's a lot more information out there these days that can help you work with your shadow side. I teach this in the Mystery Witch School 101 Academy course. So it's not just a course in Wicca, it's also helping you do more inner work. And it's easier inner work. It's not really difficult stuff, but it gets you questioning yourself and questioning, you know, what is it that you're really wanting, and who are you, and what's just your programming, and what's really you, and how you can work with the deities to help you connect more to who you are and to nature and to the divine. And I also do one-on-one work with people as well to help with some of those transitions when it comes to shadow work. So the sorts of things that are holding you back from moving forward, that's something that I do one-on-one with people using various different processes, EFT being one of them. So do check out the links in the description field below this video. You will find the link to the Mystery Witch School Academy. You will find the link to some of my free stuff. And also, if you're wanting to have a chat one-on-one with me to help with doing some shadow work one-on-one, then do check out the link to book a time on my calendar to have a quick chat, and then we can go from there. Now, if you do book a time to have a free chat with me, do make sure that you turn up, or if you can't, that you email me and let me know. I've had a lot of people book times and then they don't show, and that is really inconsiderate of my time, and it's also inconsiderate of other people's time who may want to book and can't because it's already been taken. So do be considerate when booking a free time with me. If you like the video, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Sandra from MysteryWitchSchool.com. Blessed be.